Alright folks, as with the previous videos, this one is going to attempt to deduce, kind of extract meaning from David Foster Wallace's seminal piece, This is Water. So we know by virtue of the antecedent, this is a pronoun. We have to know what this is. So we know by virtue of the piece itself, well, what am I going to be looking for? What is? Now, in this particular instance, we talked about what water metaphorically represents. In this case, we're going to, again, skew it in favor towards essay number 2. That is, what is self-actualization? And we have the capacity and range to now determine how each ambiguous word in the text can be used given the relationship with the key words, okay? Now further distill it, and what he's ultimately attempting to illustrate by virtue of this piece, given that the audience is a college and they're about to graduate, specifically being outside of school, which kind of lends us into Bell Hook's notion of self-actualization, the iteration, constant conscious development towards a better self, with the pedagogic course of radical love, hope, and possibilities. So that's what he's referring to. And self-actualization in this thing, the way he goes about to define it, it's very similar again as Reese and Mark Mason. To think in reference, and the way I applied it to, we have to think about what to give an F about, and we have to think what profound effect the dream has had on us. Okay, and choosing the most mundane and banal situations to do so. Okay, and so here, what I further deduce this even still, getting really general and too specific. Okay, again, the same very principle and premise. Everyday average situations. Is when self-entitlement smoke screening occurs, and the smoke screen, of course, is with the smoky mirror. So knowing that the daily acid dream is when magic can happen, and we'll talk about that, how one can choose to think what could possibly be the most treacherous situation, and depending on how one decides how to think, then it could be, according to Wallace and the previous readers themselves, a magical moment, a situation where fellowship happens amongst each other. And that is water, ultimately, there. That is self-actualization. And the way it kind of, the same way, is one needs to start and now. And that's the whole notion of commencement, is to begin. And it's the same way, of course, of ending, and Mark Mason, to initiate, and to start by either jumping, plunging, and taking one's proverbial Shiro's journey towards the goal. Okay, so this is water, and we'll get as to how this relates to the previous readings themselves, using the same schema